This story is called The Nail Above the Door. And in this day and age, this is such an important story to tell. Very good moral at the end if you listen to it. So we'll set the stage in Italy, okay? Beautiful rolling hills. Just imagine Tuscany or something, right? There's a house on top of a hill and it's gorgeous, and summertime, the windows open. It's just pristine and beautiful. And this guy named Vincenzo has owned the house like for generations. And everybody envies it and wants the house. So this guy comes by one day and he says, "Hey, Vincenzo, yeah, I'd like to buy your house." And he goes, "The house, she's not for sale." Right? So sorry, any Italian people, if I'm botching it, but he says, "It's not for sale." And he says, "So how much would you sell it for?" And he goes, "I told you it's not for sale." So he says, "What if I give you," and he writes down an amount on paper. And he goes, "No, it's crazy. No, I'm not to sell the house." And he says, "How about this much here, right?" And he goes, "No, I don't sell the house. It's crazy." And he goes, "How about this?" He goes, "Well, no, I'm not to sell the house." He goes, "But only one condition." And he goes, "One condition?" And he says, "Yes." He says, "I want to put a nail above the door of the house, and I want to own that nail and everything around that nail." And the guy's like, "The man's crazy. He's out of his rocker, you know?" And so he goes, Sure. And he says, "I want it in the contract." And he goes, fine, I'll put it in the contract. So he sells them the house. And the guy who now bought the house, we'll call him Tony. Tony's been working on the house. He's been renovating it. He's been doing all this stuff to make it even better and more modern and all that stuff. Now it's even more the envy of the area, right? And so Vincenzo comes back a couple years later and knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I wanted to buy my house back." And he goes, "No, it's not for sale. I'm not to sell the house." And he goes, "Yes, I want to buy the house back." And he goes, "It's been in my family for generations." And he says, "No." He goes, "Just curious, how much would you offer me?" He goes, "I'll give you exactly what you gave me for the house." He goes, "You're really off your rocker now." He goes, "I put all this into the house? No way. I got it just the way I want it." And so he says, "Okay, fine." Vincenzo says, "Fine." So he goes down the bottom of the hill and he picks up a dead animal that he finds on the road and he brings it back up to the house and he hangs it on the nail above the door of the house. And the guy's like, "You can't do that." He says, "Yes, I can." He goes, "I own the nail and everything around it." And it's summertime, you remember, and the windows are open and everything. You can imagine the house is starting to smell really bad. And, but Tony can't do anything about it, right? And so that the animal finally comes off of there, you know, and then everything's good for another couple of days. Well, Vincenzo comes back and hangs another dead animal up on that nail. It stinks up the whole house again, and you have to wait a week or two because Tony can't do anything about it, right? And so this goes on finally a third time, and finally Tony comes up and goes, "Okay, fine, I'll sell the house. I don't know what else to do, you know." And so he sells the house, right? And the moral of the story, or the lesson here, is this: is when you leave a nail above your door, the enemy can come, your enemy, an enemy, I refer to the enemy, can come and hang anything they want to on it. And a lot of times people allow things in their lives, even little itsy bitsy things, or they may do things that are small and minuscule, right? Well, the enemy can come because you put that nail above your door and hang anything they want to on that nail, and can cause you a lot of trouble. I think you're kind of getting the gist of the story. So moral of the story is, don't leave a nail above your door where the enemy can come and hang stuff off.